Welcome to your practice today or this evening. We're going to do a lunar flow today to really indulge in the hips, working on creating a slow, sustainable heat, and then settling in. So this practice is done beautifully at any time of the day, but especially before bed, it really can set you up to release the tension from the day. So we're going to start on our knees and hands. Come into tabletop and stretch your right foot out to the side and turn your right toes out. From here, you're going to kind of think of this as like a lizard getting kind of gecko-y. You're going to lean to the right and then you're just going to lean back. If your knee is tender at all, you're going to place something underneath your knee. Do that again. Lean to the right, let your right knee drop out and then come back in. Now we're going to take this one step further. Lean to your right, bend your right knee, lean forward and start to dial your hips and your pelvis back and around, creating a circle. Imagine you're tracing the full moon, creating fluidity and movement. And so what's interesting is that the first chakra is a square. It's very much about structure and foundation. And then we move up into the second chakra and it's very fluid. It's about circular movements. It's about the moon. It's very feminine in nature. And so here we're just tapping into this watery essence of the second chakra. Pause. Circle the other way. Again, if this is hard on your standing knee at all, put a blanket underneath you. Looking and exploring through the movement for anything at all that feels a little sticky, a little crunchy, a little gravelly. And remember, water can dissolve anything. So fluidity in the breath, but we're not asking the body to be something it's not. Take one more cycle, one more circle here. And then pause, ground your hands, take your right leg, sweep it behind you, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, round and rinse. Set your right knee down. And all of this can be done from your elbows if your wrists and your hands start to get a little grumpy. So from here, step your left foot out to the side. Turn your left toes out. Again, pad your knee if you need it. And then you're going to start to send your hips out to the left a bit. You'll feel kind of gecko-y, a little lizardy, and then come back. Send your hips and your knee out to the left and just kind of feel it out and notice what you're working with. Good. Now we're going to start to draw a circle. Bend to the left, circle forward and around and back. And come through. And so not only are we working with this left leg out to the side, but also your standing leg, your standing thigh bone is also working in and through and around the socket of the pelvis. So take your time and explore the range of motion that's available. And at first, it might feel a little weird. You might feel a little inhibited. So close your eyes if you can and start to feel your way through this range of motion. Allowing yourself to creatively explore this space, but also feeling for that watery element that oftentimes in the pelvis gets kind of locked down because we do a lot of sitting. There's a lot of stagnation that can happen here. Let's circle the other way now. So pause. Start to lean the other direction, noticing anything at all that's showing up for you, breathing. Remember, come to your elbows if this is a lot on your wrists. And try to shed any stress, any tension through the neck. Good, and then pause. And now gather your left leg back behind you. Straighten it, take an inhale, and pull your knee to your nose. Sense a rinsing away. Inhale, stretch your leg back. And exhale, set your knee down. Let's come onto our elbows here. You can interlace your fingers. Stretch your right leg behind you and bend your right knee. And then start to draw circles with the knee again. Knee goes in, out, and around. Relax the neck and shoulders. You could even put your head rested on your thumbs if you want, so that we're isolating the movement of the right thigh bone into the pelvis. Notice the parts that you want to rush through, and I want you to slow them down. Build some slow heat here. Breathe. Exhale in a way that you're letting go of any heat at all that seems excessive. And now pause. Go the other way. Inhaling and exhaling. Let your head get heavy. And let your breath be a guiding fluid force in organizing and assisting the movement here. Good. Take 2 more. Nice and slow. Relax your neck. Good. Now, take your right knee behind your left knee. Separate your feet and start to send your hips back. So I'm going to walk my elbows back, drop my hips, drop my head. You can hover the pelvis or you can put the pelvis on the floor. I tend to like to hover here. It tends to give me a little bit more release in the outer hips. But it is okay to set the pelvis down. It's also okay to stay very far forward here. Take a breath. And just sink into the feeling of the heat that you created, that warmth. Take 1 more breath. And then slowly start to walk back up, unravel, untangle, and come onto your belly for a moment. Open up the front of the pelvis, come into Sphinx pose, interlace the fingers, push into your elbows, lift your sternum. Inhale here. And as you exhale, you're going to drop the pelvis and the pubic bone heavy against the earth and just clear the front of the hips. We've done a lot of folding in this first piece. And I just want you to feel the front of the pelvis releasing and rinsing. Extend through the legs, click the toenails down. Take 1 more breath here. And exhale, lower all the way down. Place your hands next to you, come into Cobra, inhale, and then push back to tabletop. Take your left leg behind you, inhale. And actually, let's come onto elbows again. Bend your knee, and let's start circles. So draw the knee in towards the chest, open it out, and dial it around. And then pausing, or not really pausing, but starting to really slow down where things get sticky, where you want to rush through. And I want you just to create a little bit of lingering there. Keep packing your standing hip in. Support your thumbs on your forehead if that feels good and helpful. But try not to round the upper back and take this in the neck and shoulders. There's a tendency for things, when they get hard, we kind of close off the upper body. Pause, circle the other way. Breathe in a sustainable way. Feel the exhale starting to eliminate any tension, any imbalance. And you'll notice your standing hip gets a little tired more quickly because your hips work in tandem to stabilize. And since we already did the other side, it's a little tired. Do 1 more circle. Good. And then cross your left knee behind your right. Walk your hands back. Separate the feet a bit. And then decide, do you want to bring your elbows underneath you and hover the pelvis, or do you want to bring the pelvis back further, or maybe sit between the heels? Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. And notice any guarding or sort of pushing or forcing or even just like waiting it out. I want you to release that need for things to be over and really start to dive into the experience that you're having. So notice, like, what is it? And where is it? And that space of being able to go in and be self-reflective. You know, the moon is a reflective surface. It's reflecting the light of the sun. And so that self-reflection is a quality of the moon. Tuning in and noticing the tendencies that we cling to, we bind ourselves to, that are inhibiting us to find a sense of freedom and flow. Inhale, bring yourself back up, uncross your legs, and push back into downward facing dog. Good. Walk your dog a little. Think of salsa booty maybe. You're just going to wiggle the hips a little, kind of feel into that space that you made through all of those circle movements. And then take your right leg to the sky. Bend your knee and draw your knee to your nose. Open it out to the side. You're going to dial 3 circles here in each direction. Keep pushing through the hands. Try to keep both hands heavy as you dial the right knee in a circle. After 3 circles in one direction, circle in the opposite direction. Drop your head, drop your brain. After your 3rd circle, stretch your right leg behind you and step your right foot forward. Turn your back heel down, come into warrior 1, but take your hands inside your right foot and start to widen your sitting bones. Inner spiral your thighs in, back, and apart, and then start to drop your head down. And now pull your right outer hip back as you drop your head and stay low to the ground. Take another inhale, staying nice and low. And then inhale, walk your hands to the left, turn sideways, toes out, heels in, bend your knees, and come into horse stance or goddess. Take your arms out, reach up. Exhale, right arm on top of left. You can hug or double bind. Keep your knees wide, draw in around your waist and sink. Lean to your right. Let's make a circle. Drop down and around. Go slow. Lift up. Inhale. Exhale. To the right. All the way down and around. Keep the waistline drawing in to support the movement. And come all the way back up. Inhale. Sink a little deeper. Exhale. Untangle the arms, take the hands to the ground, straighten your legs, turn your toes forward. Send your inner thighs back and apart, lift your chest, and fold. Stay here. I like to imagine that I have a flip-top head and I can open up the crown of my head and just start to dump out the garbage, the things that I take on during the day that are not mine, other people's energies, thoughts, beliefs. And then also in my own world, in my own head, the things that I tell myself that are not true, that are not helpful. Imagine you could just wash them off of you here. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale, drip your brain. And then walk your hands to your right foot, spin both feet to the front of the room, and step back, downward facing dog. And then take your left leg up to the sky. Inhale. Bend your knee and draw 3 circles now. Left knee comes in, out, and around, but your body stays in down dog. Try to leave everything else unchangeable or unchanged as you cycle through with your left thigh bone in a circle. And then circle the other way. Keep your head soft. You'll notice the shoulders like to bundle up, especially when you get into the harder part of the rotation. Take your last circle there. And then stretch your leg back. Deep inhale. Step your left foot forward. Set up your feet for warrior one. So that's heel to heel alignment. Take your hands inside your foot. Widen your sitting bones a bit. And then drop your chest down. So we inner spiral our thighs. And now I want you to pull your outer left hip back and drop your head. Stay low. Inhale. Push into the feet. Exhale. Take one more breath here. Deep inhale. Exhale completely. And then walk your hands over to the right. Turn your toes out, your heels in. Bend your knees. Send your inner groins back. So we're inner spiraling the thighs. Press down into the feet and reach your arms out and up. Goddess or horse stance. Take your left arm on top of your right. Remember, you can hug or bind. Draw in around your waist and sink down. Go to your left. We're circling again. Left, down and around. Try not to shift the weight between the feet. There's a steadiness in the lower body as you find this fluidity in the upper body. Good. After your third circle, pause and circle the other way. Stay low. Getting in there and moving away stagnation. Grounding yourself, building some heat so we can dissolve anything that's stuck. Inhale here, unwrap, take your hands down, toes forward, straighten the legs. Big inhale, that should feel refreshing. Inner thighs back and apart, and then fold. Don't hyperextend the knees. There's a sponginess in the knee joint. We're drawing the muscles up. And then I want you to drip your brain down. Wash it. So the next time that you come up, you have a fresh mind, you have fresh eyes to see the world, to experience the world. Take one more breath with sound. And then push into your hands, lift your chest, walk your hands towards your left foot, and step back, downward facing dog. Come to your knees, lower your feet to the floor, slide them over to the side, and lie on your back. Come into Bhujangasana. So a couple of options. Sometimes feet together, knees wide are helpful. If you have a block, we can also incorporate that. So one option, feet together, knees wide. Another option, if that feels kind of severe, is to place your block or book or cushion under the feet and let your feet come to the block and your knees open out wide. Another variation, if neither one of these is landing for you, is to reach up and grab the feet and let your head come back. I like the variation with the block today. I'm going to stay here for a moment. Let your eyes start to rest back. Sense and notice this vividness around the pelvis. Remember, second chakra is above the navel, above the pubic bone, below the navel, right in front of our sacrum. The word sacrum comes from the same word as sacred, that we have this space inside of ourselves that's abundant of creativity, of enjoyment, of ebb and flow, and this watery essence of life. And that we take time to open this channel, open this energy center inside of ourselves, so that we're able to move through our life with a sense of ease and enjoyment. And then we can rest well and be our best self more often. I'm going to leave you here resting. If you would prefer to come into Shavasana with the legs straight, feel free to do so. But try to take anywhere from 1 to 5 more minutes here and just savor this experience, savor this opening. Thank you so much for your practice. I hope you are learning so much about yourself, and that's helping guide who you're becoming. Namaste.
I really can't see. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm eating. I have orange pants on. Stop. I'm going to choke on a grape.